Ara Topouzian.
Okay, got it. Ara Topouzian. All right, good to know. And you're the executive director of the Michigan Venture Capital Association.
Correct.
Now, I always assume with my audience that although we both know what you guys do, that probably a lot of people do not know what you do. So here's your chance to explain what the MVCA is all about.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do it, and thanks, Mike, for giving me an opportunity to be on your show today. MVCA is a trade association, and as such, our members are conglomerate of folks that really work in the investment and entrepreneurial ecosystem, and those include venture capitalists, angel investors, economic development organizations, some university partners, as well as some angel groups, some of the bigger angel groups, and service providers. And so we have a select group of firms that work within that Michigan, the investment and entrepreneurial community. A lot of them are law firms, some CPAs, some specialized firms, and banks as well. And these are folks that work with a lot of the portfolio companies and such. And so we've been around. Next year will be our 20th anniversary, believe it or not. And so MVCA has been around for 20 years, and it started, and I know you've got Skip on the show following, and also you've got Dave Weaver as well, and both of them have been involved in MVCA and know the beginnings of the organization a bit better than I. But basically a community of venture capitalists that came together and said, we need to grow this community and we need to grow it further and so forth. And therefore an organization got formed. And over the years, we've done a lot of different things for our members and within the community. We publish different publications during the course of the year. We do a research report. We've been doing that now for about 15 years, and that really gives a comprehensive analysis of the venture capital community. We do a landscape guide and map, and this is a resource. We'll get entrepreneurs and startups that will call us and email us on an occasion, asking us to make connections to venture capitalists. It's not something that we do, believe it or not. Hey, we could talk a little bit about why that is, but we refer them to our landscape guide, and that is a good resource for entrepreneurs to be able to find information and so forth. We'll do educational programming. So over the years, we've had a Venture Fellows program where we've helped place younger investors with VC firms. We do networking like any organization does. We provide a networking component, and that's really exciting to be able to get back to that now as we've been kind of moving through the pandemic. We went really back this year to do a bit of networking as well. Culminates into a yearly event that, again, we brought back this last year, which was our annual awards dinner celebration, where we really look at the course of the year. Our membership votes on some firms, some VC firms, and some businesses, and we give some awards that way. So, kind of in a nutshell, that's about what we do. We're a statewide organization. We serve the investment community. We like to say, Mike, that a lot of our work that we're trying to gear toward the end result, which is the entrepreneurs. I think all of us, certainly on this podcast today, is really about how do we help entrepreneurs and how do we help Michigan grow. That gives you a little bit of an outlook on what we do.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with, I started covering the MVCA way back when, probably 20 years ago, when I left the Free Press and went on my own here. I've worked with all your predecessors to this point. I'm pretty familiar with what the landscape was when I arrived in Michigan in 1995. And there was like people go, what's venture capital? Which kind of brings me to my next question. I mean, a lot of people don't really understand, friends and families, usually the first round, then the angels and the VCs are way down the line when you're into second stage commercialization, typically. And the dollar amounts are quite different. So entrepreneurs, a startup entrepreneur should not be reaching out to a venture capitalist, right?
No, they shouldn't. I mean, they also need to kind of do their due diligence, right? I mean, not every business is venture ready. There's, and I think what we've seen and others have seen is that entrepreneurs just think that venture capital money is out there for them. The chances are that they're gonna hear the word no a lot. And they really need, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a startup, you need to be working with, folks like Ann Arbor Spark. You need to work with the folks at Techtown and so forth. And you really need to, craft your business, do your homework. There's before you even start asking for money. I think once you do that, you certainly go down another stream. And but I think you said it properly. It starts sometimes with the angels and their investments, and could possibly move on to venture money, but it's not automatic. And I think you're going to see more no's than yeses. But I think the big item, Mike, in Michigan is we're not starved for entrepreneurs. There are a ton of great entrepreneurs. Again, not all of them are going to get venture money, but I mean, we've got quite a bit within the pipeline. So it goes back to earlier what I talked about. They'll get an entrepreneur or a startup that'll send a message our way and says, "Hey, I need you to, make me an introduction with so and so." We really don't do that. Every once in a while, we might do it if there's a good sense that we know of the company or know of the founder and that type of thing. But it's not something that we typically do. The pipeline is pretty vast, and as you know, the investors have their own way of sourcing deals.
Yeah, they all, just like the angel groups, they all have a sweet spot. They're looking at a particular thing, and it's not like, hey, you've got a great idea, come to us, we'll fund it. That doesn't typically, what I've seen over my career isn't how it works. But I mean,
Right.
certainly, you guys have pulled together a lot of I think I lost track of how many angel groups are there. I think 14 or 15 now. I think there's at least 20 venture groups that are represented in some way, maybe more than that now.
Little bit more in the and again, I'm not going to steal Skip's show.
Well, go ahead, steal Skip's show. We don't care. So
I do. I like Skip. So, but Skip will tell you. I mean, it's certainly the angel community is grown tremendously, which is fantastic because I think we need that.
Right.
The venture, I mean, the venture capital firms, yes, they're a bit over 20. We're not the coastal regions, right? I mean, we shouldn't be compared to Silicon Valley. We shouldn't be compared to New York and Wall Street. But what I will tell you is that the Midwest is really grown over the years, and I believe we saw some data mid-year where we ranked number 7 as far as deal activity among the states. That's pretty good. So you talked about being involved in the venture community when it started. I don't think we were in that realm.
No. I mean, there was maybe 3 or 4 venture groups that I was familiar with in the late 90s. So it has expanded tremendously. But where do you think we are now? I certainly startup capital, or at least capital for a startup or even a second stage company. I mean, that's the lifeblood that keeps them going, particularly in these difficult pandemic times, right? When everybody's cutting back on what they're spending. How can we encourage more investment, private equity, finance folks to get involved in Michigan? What can we do? We've got some great companies here, but we're still a flyover state, right?
No, I don't think we are anymore. I really don't think we're a flyover state. I think that, when I talk to out-of-state VC firms, they really like Michigan for a couple of reasons. One, they like the valuations of companies. And so they're realistic. I hear that quite often. They like doing business in Michigan. They like dealing with the investors. I mean, we're a different, we've got different personalities than we do in the coastal regions. Maybe we're more likable. I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to say that we are. But out-of-state firms do like doing deals here. Certainly, we need more capital infused into the state, and I'm happy to see that that's been talked about a lot more. I think in the last year and a half. I mean, you may remember that Governor Whitmer made a couple of comments earlier in the summer about making Michigan one of the top 10 states for venture capital community or venture capital activity. That's fantastic. I don't think we've heard that, in many years. So I do think, as we see more to the seed funds and pre-seed funds coming in, I mean, you've got folks like Michigan Rise, they've got it's the third pre-seed fund that's been funded through the MEDC. They're doing a phenomenal amount of work. You've got the work that the angel investors are doing in groups. I think we just need more of it. But to your specific question of how do we get more of it, we need to tell more of that story. And so, I would kind of end on, on the 16th, we're doing a year in review where myself and Michael Gross, who is our current chair and he's with Berengia, we're going to kind of go through and kind of give some highlights of some of the great work that's gone on in this last year, and then talk a little bit about kind of what we've done, as far as an association too. But I think it's awareness. I think we just need to let more people know, what's going on. We haven't started on next year's report just yet. We will. That's going to take a different look and feel to it. That's going to be more of an impact report. And I think we're going to be able to tell the story at a greater length. So I'll tell you, Mike, I think we're in decent times. We've been doing well. I think the state's been doing well, and we're projecting. I don't have any numbers or anything to share like that, but it's hopeful that we'll still be continuing into 2022 doing very well.
Okay, and then now this event on the 16th, is that a virtual event?
It is. It's a virtual event.
And can you share the details on that?
It's a long email or website, but I'll give it to you here. It's I'll spell it out hopin-MVCA-year-in-review-2021.
Yeah, okay. So when I post this for on demand, I'll put that in under your video here,
right?
Because like you say, that's a challenging one to write down in a hurry, right?
It is. It
all
is.
Right. So we're coming up towards the end. What's the best way to reach out to the MVCA?
Through our website, michiganvca.org.